Hello, everybody. What's up? Yeah, it's been an interesting last few weeks. Obviously, some crazy stuff went down. One peculiarity that I noticed is Florida, which is double the size of Georgia. Um, they finished their election all in one evening. They got the vote in early, and everything was finished up early. And they did that despite being two times the size of Georgia, which technically or reportedly, according to some sources, didn't finish up till a week ago, yesterday, which was 8 days ago. Um, but still is unofficial. Is still officially counting their ballots and finalizing the total there. Yeah, there's no logical explanation for that. Every time you know, that's pointed out. There's always some overarching excuse about, well, all the mail in ballots, but there were just as many mail in ballots in Florida, and that didn't seem to be a problem. They've always put there's always been a particular swing battle when it comes to the state of Florida and how that's viewed politically, competition wise. There's always been a lot of money put into Florida, but recently there has been more money flowing into Georgia when it comes to that being a real battle as we're seeing right now. So much to the point that people like Mark Zuckerberg are funding, businesses and campaigns in, suburbs of Georgia in order to quote unquote influence these elections and things like that. Um, it's a very interesting phenomenon. Most of the mainstream media, as we all know, did report that Biden had been elected or predicted to be president elect of the United States. Trump and his legal team have etched out lots of claims and put a lot of what you would call I would call it circumstantial evidence. There's a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. There's a lot of bullying litigation. There's a lot of irony in policy, a lot of coincidence in policy that kind of makes it, the Democratic machine, a more oiled, a very well oiled machine, albeit not clear and definitely not what you would call transparent and what we really know what happened exactly or what went on. We know that a lot of fraud did take place. It's evident. The Dems were counting on a clear sweep. They were counting on convincingly picking up seats in the Senate, as well as continuing to overarching bill on the House, of which they were not able to do. It might be a majority um, House and Senate on the Dem side, but it's going to be very close to a 50-50 split when you take ideologies into it and things like that. And some of the representation in red states from blue districts, it'll basically be a 50-50 split in the Congress with a moderate left president and a radical left vice president and a radical left cabinet mixed in with some old school colonial Democrat types that kind of mirror Biden. But the cohesion of it all and the or the lack thereof, or in the accumulation of it all working together, I do not see it working out. There's just too many ideologies and too many. If you're going to lump personalities and mentalities, there's too many mentalities all going after what they see as the most perfect way for the country. And you can group those off into 4 or 5 ones. You have your far righters that are right, but they're never Trumpers. You have the people that are going to congratulate Biden, but are with Trump, as like Matt Gaetz from Florida, um, representing the district there in the Florida Panhandle. And then you're going to have people like, Tom Coburn, Jim Inhofe, Ted Cruz, the list goes on and on. People more closely aligned with the president. Obviously, types like Phil Scott of Vermont are going to be more closely aligned with the mostly not Trump or the never Trump things, more in line with the Lincoln Project. Although I do not believe that Phil Scott was involved with the Lincoln Project. But the accumulation of all these personalities coming together and all these factors coming together under one government where people like AOC could potentially have more power. It doesn't look like it's going to be a smooth ride for Biden, and it looks like he will be facing a lot of the same litigation and legal proceedings that Trump faced if he shall be um, certified by the Electoral College and then inaugurated into the presidency. But right now, there's probably only a 70% chance of that happening right now. There's no guarantee that Trump will not be the president. As Mike Pompeo thinks that he will be smoothly and undoubtedly. But, types like Ted Cruz still haven't congratulated Biden, understandably. There's a list of them that go on and on, like Marco Rubio. But yeah, there are those that have congratulated Biden and that kind of thing. But it does not look like a smooth ride for either the current Trump administration or what Biden potentially faces from an ideology standpoint, and from also the perception of him doing nothing to mitigate or to lessen the rioting this summer, and just some of the coincidences of some of the paramilitia groups this summer and their name in writing directly linking to his campaign site, and social media trying to block that, big tech trying to block that, browsers didn't block that, or anything like that. Our search engine didn't block it, but big tech and big social media was very, very, very protective of Biden and what words would link to his campaign website. That coinciding with Kamala Harris encouraging donations to get people out of jail who looted. So she basically encouraged terrorism. That combining with the ironies or the blatant affiliation of Biden with these paramilitary groups and his association with his website linked to them is just not was not a good look. That is not a good look. A lot of people don't think Trump is smart, but Biden not being an intellectual like Obama, that is also not a good look for him. It will not make it any easier for him to litigate or move around those who are more vocal or more authoritative and have more depth in their stances. But in the end, there is a good chance that President there will be a president-elect Biden in a certified manner, but right now that there is no guarantee of that, even though that's the most likely scenario for our republic in the momentary. But it's not